Hello everyone and welcome to my channel, and today I'll be reading a multi-character examiner by me. So let's get into it. Scaramouche. Scaramouche is usually very careful around you, and for the most part, he tries to be gentle with you. He knows it does not come naturally to him, and even if it did at one point, now it no longer does. His past, his, well, everything so far. Life has been cruel to him, and the way he's learned to deal with it was to be cruel back. So it was not exactly a good philosophy of life, and not exactly one to apply with a lover. But that was the way things were, and they would change, surely, but it would be slow. And for now, Skirmish was careful, or he tried to be. But sometimes his past had to catch up with him. The two of you were talking about something, and maybe the argument between the two got a little bit heated, but he would swear what happened later was an accident. Fine, Ryan. How about I just go and we take a break because I'm tired, he said, and he looked very angry. And in the way of walking, he had accidentally shoved you away with his body. And that's because he automatically thought you would move away. But he never really thought he would walk into you. Not to mention, you were kind of shocked by the way he was behaving. He was going to leave you then. It hurt more than anything. But the way he behaved after and just shoved you, that stunned you. Scaramouche, why are you acting that way? He looked at you, a little bit nervous and panicked. I I didn't mean to shove you like that. My mistake, Ryan. I'm sorry, he said sincerely, and the look in his eyes was full of guilt. And it wasn't like he had just shoved you with his hand or something. His body bumped into yours. But it was sure just something he did and could have avoided. But it was an accident. A mere thought in his mind that was always there. If he was in the way, the others would have to move out the way for him. Because he was a harbinger. He was not just no one. And he was the future Archon. That's what he thought always. And that superiority complex sometimes truly got to him. But he knew he was wrong. So he took your hand in his, looking into your eyes, and leaning down to kiss your palm. I'm sorry. I really am. Please just let's take a break. For real. I want to get away from things. Not from you, but from this. You seem angry, and I seem a lot worse. I can't control my emotions as well as everyone does. So the best I can tell you is that we need to stay away from each other for a little bit. And looking at him, how sad he is. You know he's not mad at you, or just trying to avoid you. Those are his honest feelings. So he nodded, as much as it hurt you to part ways. But you know if you didn't now, then your relationship would be ending one way or another, and not on good terms. Alright then, Scaramouche. I I'll try to understand that. You can go. He waved, and that was all you got for the rest of the week. But when he was back, he was in much better spirits, and he was way more determined to become a better boyfriend and partner for you. Xiao. Xiao was such a sweetheart. He truly was. He loved you more than he loved the world itself, and he loved the world a whole lot. Not because he loved to live, but because he loved protecting it. And he loved those people who cared about him. But you had a special place in his heart, so he would never truly hurt you on purpose. And the reason why he hurt you here, it was a completely silly one. Or rather sad, but if you told it to anyone, they may find it a laughing matter. But it was no laughing matter as you had been there, and seen how he behaves while he's having a nightmare. Well, that was why it happened. Xiao gets a lot of nightmares. That's why he hardly ever sleeps. Adepti don't need sleep as much as people do. And Xiao especially. He's stronger than most, and he can last very long without sleeping. But you've been convincing him to give himself an occasional rest, more and more often. And he's been convinced he also likes sleeping next to you, and sometimes he even lets you hold him as he sleeps. But today you weren't. Today you were working, and you happened to be working late. And when you got home to sleep next to him, you noticed he was having a nightmare. Just let me go. Get away from me, he said, and he seemed to be struggling against something in his sleep. He looked sad and afraid. And that was the first time you saw that expression on his face. It almost scared you to see him like this, and it made your heart break. You reached out to touch him, and as you were trying to wake him up, things had went south from then. Xiao, you need to wake up. You're having a... Get away from me! He shouted, hitting you in his sleep. And with the force of this action, he had woken up and looked at you, stunned. Oh, Wyan, what was going on? What have I done? He asked, looking horrified. And you could tell this was not the first time he had experienced something like this, or perhaps been in a similar situation. You just shook your head. It's fine, Xiao. Are you okay? Is everything alright? You asked him with a concerned face, and you could tell you were truly worried. But he felt incredibly sorry for hurting you and making you worry about him so much. Nonetheless, you were never mad at him for it. If anything, you were more worried and concerned for him. You gave him a glass of water then, and since he didn't feel like sleeping, you made him almond tofu, and he ate it with much pleasure, and he felt so grateful to have you by his side. When you opened your arms and let him cuddle there, when you asked him what he was dreaming about, he just shook his head. He didn't want to tell you, and you understood that perfectly. But you'd be there for him no matter what. You held him, stroking his hair. It'll be fine, Xiao. I promise. I'm here now, and I'm not leaving you anytime soon. You told him with a soothing voice, and he relaxed a little bit, because he knew every single word you said was true.